Today on Transitional News, the House of America. Hi, welcome to Transitional News, where we view current events through a prophetic lens. I'm Sherry Erb.
And I am Mary Beth McElroy.
And today we're talking about the House of America.
That's right, the House of America. Get ready.
You know, there's so much. I've got my glasses on today because I have my phone instead of my iPad. There's so much going on in our world, right, with the nations, just wild stuff. Everything from, migrants storming Spain's, borders to,
Right.
let's see here. We've got all the fires that are going on right now in France and in Spain, and the agreements that are going on with Hamas. And then we've got Iran and China and Russia and North Korea, forming, what they call an axis of aggressors, and just wild stuff, right? So let's talk about America. America's got some wild stuff going on too.
Right.
And a lot of the things that America is currently dealing with is everything from communism, as we're seeing it come to the forefront.
Yes.
What's happening in New York?
New York.
New Yorkers, are you paying attention? What's going on?
Rise up, New York. Rise
Come
up.
on. We're seeing that. We are seeing everything with what's going on right now with the Fauci hearings, right?
Yes.
And
yes.
the pros and the cons. And are we not seeing almost like a house divided happening?
Right. It's almost like the house of cards.
Yeah.
That has been built, and suddenly it's beginning to tumble.
Yeah. And when we were getting ready for this taping today, and we were just praying, and the Lord just began giving me a picture of America. And I saw her, for those of you who live in earthquake prone areas, often they've got organizations, right, where they build a platform and they put a house on top of it, and it's got these metal pillars up underneath that, and then electronically they simulate an earthquake, right? So the platform is shaking, and then they watch to see how well does the building do for stressors and that kind of thing. So I had a picture, and I saw America on that kind of a platform. And there is earthquake simulations happening right now for America as in a macro picture. And as we continued praying, I began to see it shift to where part of the house was on a rock, the foundation.
Yes.
And the other part had a big, huge cavern underneath it. It was emptied out. Things had been sucked out from underneath it. And the need for us to begin to put pillars and pilings up underneath the foundation of America again. So this is I just want to just lay this out. Those of you who are in construction would probably know this better than me, but I just did a quick Google search here. Right, to pier up a house, right, you need to install vertical piers that they are either made of concrete or steel, and they support the structure's weight.
Yes.
And that way, then they can take that structure and transfer it to stable ground. And that this method is used for homes that are on unstable soil. And so I think right now with what we're seeing, it talks about in Matthew chapter 7, I believe it is, about, building your house on the rock because, the waters are going to come.
Yes.
The rain's going to come.
Right.
The earthquakes, the storms.
Right.
That's life, unfortunately. That's just how it is on this planet. These are going to come, but it says to build it on the rock. And so it's interesting that in the vision, half of America's house was on a rock and the other half was not. And we are in this space right now of what can we do to shore up and to pillar up and to put the pilings in to get the other part of America solid again and put back on a rock.
Right. And as we are considering these things, we're also looking at Matthew 24, where it talks about wars and rumors of wars. And that this is just the beginning of the birth pangs, of the coming of the hour of the day of the Lord. But in the very end of that section of scriptures, it says, but you make sure you stand firm until the gospel of the kingdom is preached to all the nations. So why would I bring that up as we're talking about the house of America? When we're looking at the house of America and we're looking at our own lives, there is shaking that has taken place. I believe you're experiencing it somewhere in your
Mhm.
own personal life,
Mhm.
or Sherry, in your
Mhm.
family.
Mhm.
And we're seeing it in our nation. Our nation is shaking. It is shaking. Every structure, every foundation, everything that is below the ground and above the ground. I'm talking, yes, governmental, but I'm also talking about ideology. I'm talking
Yeah.
about theology. I'm talking about academia. It's all shaking. It's all shaking. And it's going to shake and shake and shake. And we know there's a scripture that says all things will be shaken, but the kingdom of heaven will stand. That's truth. It
Mhm.
is truth.
Mhm.
So as we're looking at America and we're looking at this government administration, they are addressing whether we like them or not. I mean, that's a
Come on. Let's
reality.
just be
It's a
real.
reality.
Mhm.
They've got some things they're shaking some things up. And when they're shaking it, they're looking at what is the foundation.
Yeah.
And we're seeing that. We're seeing that with President Trump as he
Mhm.
is renovating much of our capital, the Washington, D.C. Capitol. There's the water fountains, as well as the Lincoln
Mhm.
Reflecting Pool
Mhm.
that has been restored. There's monuments, Sherry, that's
Yeah.
being
Yeah.
restored.
Yeah.
There's things that are underground that are being restored.
Yes.
Is that a outward picture of, Sherry, what's taking place on the underneath of the foundation of this nation? If there's wars and rumors of war,
Mhm.
Sherry,
Mhm.
if indeed this is the moment of the great revival of the Middle East, it affects America. America affects the Middle East as well as Israel. And so, Sherry, the word is stand firm.
Stand firm. And what fun, right? That God would say, because I don't know how many of you guys get online. It's really easy to go find and just see some of the renovations and the restoration that's
Yeah,
happening
yeah,
at the head of the nation, the
right,
little district called the District of Columbia, right? The
right.
restoration that's starting to happen on the outside. Go and look. Be encouraged where you're like, oh my gosh, look how beautiful that is. Look what's happening. Wow, look how what that is, what's going on. Let that be an encouragement to you that as we get our nation right now, and God's using various agencies and individuals, again, whether we like them or not, whether we like how they do it or they don't, right?
Right.
There are those that are saying, look, we already have seen that part of the nation, the house of America, is on a rock, something that's solid,
Come
that's
on.
firm on the
Come on.
establishment of what God intended when he created the nation to begin with. And then we've got a part that's not, and so they're working on the part that's not. And I don't know how many of you guys have gone through that process, right, of getting new pilings put in on your home. But they have to rip up your carpet. They got to rip up all the foundation. I mean, there's cement everywhere, piles of cement
Mhm.
everywhere, dust. I mean, it's just a mess. You have to
It
move
is a
out of the
mess.
house for a season
Mm.
for them to do everything. But once it's done, there's a solidness, a solidification that when you walk into that house, you know you're not going to have to worry about part of your foundation cracking and moving. This is where we're at right now with America. Let me encourage you. So look at the good stuff. If we focus at just the bad all the time, all of us get discouraged.
Right.
But the Lord
Right.
again is wanting us to be aware. Be aware your foundation as a nation must be made sure. Just as it says, Mary Beth said in Matthew 24, when he says to you individually, stand firm. We are now saying to our nation, the house of America, stand
Yes.
firm. Right?
Yes.
Get back on that firm foundation. And yes, it's about Jesus Christ, but you don't build the nation on a theology, right? There's some practical things that have to be walked out, right? You've got to work on corruption. You got to hold people accountable, right? And you've got to do that with proper procedures. You can't just go out and arrest somebody because you don't like them, regardless of what's happened in the past. We've got to get that reshored up properly, right? This is part of what's happening, right? You've got to lay out a plan for a series. You can't take a nation and go and shift it just like that, and all of a sudden everything's better in 24 hours. It takes a while. So you've got to build up and see what other brick is missing. And so allow that time. And in the middle of that time, continue to pray, continue to bless, continue to see the good, continue to prophesy, continue to decree, continue to honor, continue to encourage those around you as well as the nation as a whole. Okay. Let's not get caught up. Yes, there's a big hole a half of the house,
Right.
right? So let's begin to call in. And if there's an agency or maybe you have an organization that you're a part of that can help shore up and bring the rock portion of the foundation back underneath America in education, then do it.
Yes.
What about in
Yes.
business? Then do it. Just go
Yes.
do it.
Yes.
What about right? Get in the arts area. Do it right. Just go out there and help shore up that foundation because the house of America, we don't want to see it split
Right.
apart as
Right.
the earthquakes and the rain and the storms come.
Wow. Wow. I hope you're encouraged because I'm encouraged just as we've been praying and the Lord's showing us once again. I was turning on, just listening to news and get some updates on my phone about news headlines. And Sherry, you're right. Everything really is pretty negative. I'm not getting any good news. There's very few celebrations. It is just this highlighting continually where all of the dysfunction is, all that's being uncovered, and those things are great. But when God is bringing down and dismantling those things off of a foundation that was never supposed to have been erected, He's also building.
Yes.
And we're in a building season. So, America and America's house, this is your time. This is your moment to build on a solid foundation, the foundation of which you have been founded on from generations and generations back. And as we are building, as we are looking again, we do want to seek wisdom. Wisdom, 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 wisdom. I may say that a lot, but wisdom. If we don't know what else to pray right now, we must pray for wisdom.
Yeah.
There is a lot of confusion. There's things that are chaotic that is going on. And with AI, which would be a whole nother episode that is going on, that we must know truth, the truth. And I'm going to encourage you. How are you building America's foundation with your words, with your speech? We are very quick to begin to tear down. We're very quick to talk about all the things that are wrong. But what are you doing? How are you speaking? How are you shoring up some things in your life as well as your family and the house of America with just beginning to decree the truth and that which indeed is being established?
Yeah. So hopefully you feel better about what you're hearing and seeing because there is good news.
There's such good news.
And we are trying to reestablish the proper foundation for our nation. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you enjoy our videos and the things that the Lord speaks to us, please share this with your friends. Feel free to forward the video to them.
Yes.
All the social media stuff you're supposed to do, right, with the likes and the subscribes and all that. So we don't say that very often to you, but we want to encourage you to do that as well. So thank you so much for joining us, and we look forward to the next time. Goodbye.
Goodbye.